On this episode, episode 58 of the podcast, I'm going to talk about 100-kilometre rides, what's funny, and old friends. So let's get into it. Hello, everybody. That's really hot. Let's just tone that down a little. Hello, everybody. That's better. Welcome to another episode of the Luke Who's Talking podcast with me, Luke. Now, here is the thing. There is a video companion. So if you hop over to Luke Who's Talking, on YouTube, search it up. Hopefully you can watch this episode in video right now. If you can't, it'll be coming along in a day or so. So, yeah. But I'm not happy with the background because I'm using my room. The background's solidly average. So I'm going to crop this. People who are watching the video can see me doing hand things. So I'm going to try and crop it just to get rid of a bit of the background a little bit. We'll see how it goes. So this, I know, we're just figuring out how this works at this point. So, yeah, any thoughts on it? Hop on over and check it out. And yeah, but of course, stay subbed to the audio version of the podcast. Anyway, now let's get into the first story I have here for you now. Last episode, probably, most likely, I talked about building up to doing a 100k ride. So I think I talked about last episode doing 80ks, but it was like 79.6 or something, and I didn't want to ride the 400 metres just to get to 80. Anyway, so on Sunday, I thought, let's go for the 100. So I was sort of ready, half prepped, ready to do a 100k ride. Anyway, so I got going, and the wind was horrendous. The wind was nasty. So I decided to call it. I didn't do 100 kilometres. I did about 35, I think I ended up doing. But, excuse me. But, I was like, let's do 100 Ks. Try that. We'll see if we can even do it. Couldn't. It took me 45 minutes to ride to ride 10 Ks. And it was like, this is just taking too long. It's going to take me forever to ride the 100. So I decided not to go through it. And actually, it was lucky because when I got back to where I started, I did a little bit of a loop. And when I got back to where I started, it started to rain. So I was like, cool, lucky I didn't decide to ride 100 then, because I would have got a wet whatever. So that would have been less than ideal. But I might wait on the 100k ride until summer comes, because then the days are longer as well. So I could start at in the afternoon till 3 o'clock, and it's still light at 7:38ish. So maybe that could be something to do is do the 100k later on. But I will hopefully do one this year sometime. So that's a goal. Anyway, so it's just a quick review, I guess, or quick rundown of how the 100k ride went. It didn't. Look, I'm going to put a video together on what I got, and shameless cross promotion, but you can hop on to, or go on over to Luke Who's Vlogging or whatever it's called, and that video will be next week, because I've thought, look, I'll do a podcast on a Friday, and then the next week can be a video, and then the next week can be another podcast episode, and alternate between them. So I noticed my hands were over here, and that means that's going to get cut off. That's going to be out of frame. Anyway, whatever. Let's get into the next thing I've got for you. So audio listeners will have a jingle here, but because you're watching this, none of it. No jingles. Now, I was having a little bit of a discussion online the other day about comedies, things that are funny. And I typically don't find comedy movies, sitcoms or whatever, really that funny, they're not really that amusing to me. I'll be like, okay, yeah, right. Yeah. Because somebody on one of the Discords I'm involved in is watching Seinfeld. Yes, we go through that and they're like, oh, it's hilarious. Which, I mean, I like there's the episode where Jerry has a book. He borrowed a book from like his high school library or something, and Mr. Bookman comes and has a conversation. That conversation with the book guy, the book library cop or whatever it is, that's not bad. I'm still a bit hot on these peaks. I'm gonna turn it down. That's like, it's funny. That's, yeah. I'll give you that. That's like, heh. But other things, I'm like, I don't know. Is this funny? I don't know. But also movies. If I'm watching a comedy movie, I'll be like, is this, really that exciting? If you said, oh yeah, what's a comedy? Something with Rob Schneider, right, is like the funniest movie ever. I'd probably say I watched it, didn't laugh. I mean, when I was doing the reviews, you'll remember when I was doing the reviews, I watched 21 Jump Street was a film I watched. And that's, a comedy, but I thought it was pretty awful. If I'm honest, I was just like, this movie's not funny to me. Should I be laughing? I don't know. I didn't. There you go, plot twist. And I was like, whatever. So yeah, there's a little bit of a conversation in the Discord about, I don't know, maybe I've got no soul. Maybe I'm dead inside and I don't find things funny. I don't know. Because if I watch comedy, I think I don't know, comedy's interesting. I think maybe if I was watching, because I guess when you're by yourself, you might not necessarily laugh at things. So maybe I think that's not funny because I'm not laughing. But in the context of if you're watching something with somebody, you laugh to sort of show that, yeah, you get the joke. Maybe you're not really laughing because it's funny. I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, this has gone all quiet. I thought I heard something out the door. That's why I was like all quiet. Anyway, but but something I do find slightly amusing is Dodgeball. I mean, I think that's an interesting movie, and I like Pepper Brooks. Cotton. 4 wins are going to mean you get to the semis, but 5th win putting you in the running for that 50k. What he's been talking about, Cotton. That exchange and the commentary thing's actually quite. So over the top, it's ridiculous. It's quite funny on ESPN 8 the Ocho. But so like, if I say what's a funny movie, or you ask me what's a funny movie, I don't know if I could really say one that comes to mind, but I will say that I enjoy at least that portion of Dodgeball, for example. But yeah, anyway, what's funny to you? Tell me, what is a movie that amuses you, and tell me if I should watch it or not. I don't know. Anyway, after this, we're going to talk about Friends. I feel that segment could have gone a bit better. I don't know. The delay here on the is really bad. It's awful. Anyway, cool. So the other day, I went and got a haircut, and you might be able to. I was about to say you might be able to tell. I mean, you can't. You've not seen me before. But I went and got a haircut, and I got a friend of mine to cut it. Now, this friend is somebody who I've known since like kindergarten. So that is, you're about 4 or 5 when you start kindergarten here. And so I've known them since then, all the way. We went to school together, like through to grade 10. And then, school changes after that. You sort of go your separate ways. So, but, recently we've sort of reconnected a little bit. But anyway, it got me thinking about friends and how old is your oldest friend, as it were. So I thought to myself, this person, I've known them for like 4 or 5 years of my life. So like 2/3 of my life, I've known this person, or this person's been in my life in some capacity, at varying stages over the years. And then I also sort of thought to myself that this friend, this person, really, like in the context of high school and even like primary school, is really the only person who I sort of see on like going and having a haircut like once every 6 months isn't really regular basis, but it's regular basis sort of concept, like that. So I just sort of, I guess it's a bit of a question for you, listener. When you think of friends, old friends, who is, who's your oldest friend? We're not talking about this person. I won't say is my best friend, but they're most definitely one of my oldest friends. And it's really just it's really interesting. That concept of Discord. Apparently, I have 6 messages on Discord. That's a lot of messages. Got a heap of messages now all of a sudden on Discord. I don't know who from. I'll look at that in a moment. But yeah, this person, it's interesting. Yeah, they're not my not my best friend, but they're most definitely my oldest friend. And it's just interesting to think of somebody that you've known since you were like 4, 5 years old, and you still know this person. And I was talking to somebody about this the other day, and they asked me, how have they changed as a person in that time? Which is interesting because we were never like close or best friends. So I think in like a bit more deeply or intimately in that context, I'm not really sure how they've really sort of changed as a person. But physical changes and things, like they're pretty much the same. But I would, when I saw them the other week, they were still, their personality traits they had were still there. So I was still very sort of a bubbly person, a very warm persona, comfortable person to be around. So in that context, they've not, I would say they're the same, but how have they changed in other ways? I'm not really sure. I guess that's an interesting question, an interesting thing to think about, but yeah, I don't know. But anyway, it's just a thing for you to think of, listener, and also now viewer. Who's like your oldest friend? Do you still have, and what's your current, I guess, relationship with that person? Just an interesting thing, an interesting like train of thought, I guess, really to think about. Yeah. Anyway, let's go into another jingling jingle, and I'll wrap it up. Well, everybody, that is it for this episode of the podcast. Podcast, words are hard. For this episode of the podcast, I hope you enjoyed it. Of course, if you did, you can hop on to the Twitters, L_who's talking. I mean, there is a Facebook page, but it's like, it's average. Or you can send me an email, lukehoostalkingpod@gmail.com. Hope you've enjoyed it. I hope this is an interesting new thing with having the visual. We'll see how that goes. I'm probably going to, I don't know. What am I going to do for like a thumbnail? I don't know. I have to think about that. Not sure. Don't know. I should probably do something with that at some point. But anyway, look, everybody. Comments, thoughts, opinions, feedback, all that jazz. If you have any, let me know. And I'll catch you next time for episode 59. See ya.